Hi guys, welcome back to my channel where today I am doing the next video in my one letter look series. This is a series on my channel where I do an eyeshadow look using eyeshadows that all start with the same letter. So I'm currently spelling out the word holidays. In the description box you can find my H video and my O video, and now all of the shadows that you see on my eyes today begin with the letter L. I'm having a lot of fun with this series. I hope that you'll stick around to see what I did, what I used to get here, and consider subscribing before you go. If you guys have been following along, you'll know that every shadow I use today is going to start with the letter L. In my description box, I have the H video and the O video. Let's look at the palettes. I don't have any idea. I didn't even look ahead at these at all. These are the palettes that I'm using. If you want to know how I chose which palettes for which letter, then just check out the carded video that's right here. I've got it all laid out. I'm not going to get into it today because it'll take too long. The palettes I'm working with today, I can choose any of the L named shadows from these palettes. I don't have to use all of them, but I'm gonna swipe my total color story on my arm and then decide from there. First, I've got the Strawberry Feels palette from Jacqueline Cosmetics. In here, we've got Lemonade. Geodes from What's Up Beauty. Have you guys seen their new Dragon's Eye palette? It's got great packaging. Okay, the L shade in here is called Lava. That's this mustard yellow. So there's an interesting combination, like a pink lemonade and a mustard yellow. The next palette is The Child from Star Wars. The L shade in here is called Little Frog. Oh, I should have known that. Little Frog. Little Frog is more of a satin shade from ColourPop. It's a matte with sparkles, but the sparkles basically diffuse as you blend. Here we have La Cienega from Adept. In this one, there is a shade called Lennox. Yeah, just Lennox. It's this raspberry sort of color. That one's actually a great match for my shirt. We've got Paletopoly from Ace Beauté. Literally the last shade in the palette. It's called Leg Warmers. And in the Lure palette from Blend Bunny Cosmetics, I have the shade Lost at Sea. Just making sure there's not another one. Yes, just Lost at Sea, which is a lighter pastel blue matte. One which I have used quite a lot, actually. So here's my color story. This is making me think so much of the Malibu Barbie palette from ColourPop, and also that Margarita palette from the Glamlight Happy Hour collection. Which way do I want to go? Part of my struggle with this challenge is that I keep thinking of it as a palette bingo, where I have to use all the shades that I pull. That's not the case. I don't have to. This is just limiting myself to L named shades. So I can use one or all 6 of these, however I want. I don't know. I'm gonna decide what to do. I'm gonna zoom in and you guys will see in a hot second what I decide to do. I'm struggling here because I see 3 distinct color families. We've got blue, we've got yellow green, and we've got red pink. So there are no shimmers and there are no deepening shades. And the difficulty is, how do I like an all matte look. I really like an all matte look, honestly, but generally it's within a gradient of color. Or it's like one color family into a really deep shade of a different, but the depth and the way that the shadows work together with the contrast, that helps. I don't have that option here. This is going to be a challenge because I could choose any one of these color families, but then it's just a 2 shadow look, which could be great, but it's not very exciting, is it? I'm not sure, actually. This one is difficult, so I'll figure it out. I'll zoom you guys in and we'll get going. I used the Glamlight Icing Primer. Everything that I'm using is linked, if possible, down below in the description box. Sometimes I use things that are out of stock, and I simply mention that down there, but do check that box for the first 2 looks of this holidays word and lots of other things. First, I'm starting with Lava in the Geodes palette. I'm going to put this on my inner crease area. I'm thinking I'm going to do yellow into green into burgundy. I'm not sure on the lower lash line. Perhaps I could do the pastel blue as an inner corner highlight, but that might be really, really weird with the yellow. I'm not feeling confident about that as a choice. Right now I'm entertaining it as a possibility. And I also have to keep in mind that I don't have any shimmers to work with today, so this isn't just going to be in the crease. I'll actually put it on the lid space too. I'm going to use the green from the Child palette. I'm going to use that on the rest of my lid, crease, and space, everything else. It'll be yellow, green. The burgundy, when placed on top of the green, is going to turn more brown, I think. And that is my goal. It's not so much going to be a yellow, green, burgundy look. It's going to be more yellow, green, into brown to deepen it. That's my thought. There is a lot of kick up in this shade. Like, can you guys see? I don't know if you can see. Look at all this kick up. That's from dipping in one time. That's a little insane. It's a ton of kick up. Anyway, the burgundy is going to be used as a deepening shade and placed on top of the green, I believe, will make it brown. So that's kind of what I'm thinking there. Oh my goodness, really? I just discovered that after owning the child palette for literally a couple of years, apparently I never took off the cover on the mirror. I'm not really sure how I didn't notice that. Ta-da! Wow. You know, I have decluttered almost all of my ColourPop palettes, and I'm about to get rid of one or two more. I still like this palette. This palette is just such an appealing color story to me. It's so soft and kind of neutral, but like a colorful neutral. It's got pretty shimmers and it's got nice mattes. I like this palette. I'm just going back into the yellow briefly with a smaller brush. I'm just tapping it over in towards the green so that they merge together smoothly. It's a really easy transition, honestly. I'm slightly concerned that this is going to fade throughout the day because neither of these shadows are super pigmented. The yellow seems to be a stronger formula. So I'm just going to, I think, build it on a bit more, and I might try to build up the green as well. Now it's time to try to deepen this outer corner with the Lennox shade from La Cienega. It looks like this. It is, as you saw, it's a very mid-tone raspberry. I'm just hoping that it'll turn brownish out here and maybe deepen a little bit. This might be a mistake. I only have 4 palettes in my collection that have shadows that begin with the letter Y. I went through everything, so unless I missed something, there are only 4. And so I'm going to have just those 4 palettes to work with when I do the Y video. I'm looking forward to it. I know that one of them is the Blueberry Muffin, and that one I think is a shimmer. It's the shade Yummy. And I know that one is Orange Sorbet from BH Cosmetics, which is orange. I think the Yummy shade is like a, kind of like this one actually. I think, off the top of my head, I think the Yummy shade is sort of like a light silvery toned burgundy shimmer. Could be wrong, but I'm just envisioning pairing that with a lighter mid-toned, very brown leaning orange matte, which is the shade from Orange Sorbet. It should be interesting. Okay, so where we stand with this is that I blended in that Lennox shade and then I put the green matte back on top of it because I don't really want it to be yellow, green, red. I want it to be yellow, green, brown. So the Lennox shade slightly deepened the outer corner and then the green matte kind of drowned it out again, but now it's looking a bit more brown and there is a tiny bit of depth. So I'm going to leave it like that for now and I'm going to do something on the lower lash line. Not really sure. I'm going to start with the Lemonade shade from Strawberry Fields and put this, oh, I don't know, I'll put this in my outer area here. That's really pink. And my brush is too big. Ah! Hang on. Don't think that I have horrible makeup wipes. That's actually a baby wipe. It's a decent color. It's a nice color. It's a pretty color, but it's too pink, and I used too large of a brush. So, abort, backpedal. With a much smaller brush. I'm going back into Lennox, and I will lay Lennox out there instead. So it's going to be darker and in a smaller, more precise space. Now I'll go back into the little frog shade with the same brush. I did not bother cleaning it off because again I want that brown to come down. Okay, that's definitely working. It's definitely creating a brown. I think I can live with that. And now, out of morbid curiosity, I think I'm going to do the light blue matte Lost at Sea on that same small blending brush as an inner corner highlight and possibly onto the lower lash line. Is this a mistake? Asking for a friend. I do like that. It doesn't really work with my outfit, but it's just in such a small space, and it really brightens that area. I think I do like that. I need a little bit more. And now I think I'll take the Strawberry Feels. Shadow is called Lemonade. Again, going into it much more lightly than I did before, and starting it out here with the pink, or the burgundy shade. And I'm just dragging this towards the pink. The reason I'm doing Strawberry Feels here is because it's a lighter tone of pink. So it's gonna clash a bit less. It's gonna clash a bit less with the blue. Okay, I think that's the look. Again, there are no shimmers, which honestly is throwing me a little bit. I do like an all matte look. I'm just not used to doing one, honestly. Typically I bring in a shimmer, and a shimmer can really bridge the gap quite well between totally disparate colors. So I tend to rely on them. I'm glad for this challenge because I had to do something that was, I won't say a bit out of my comfort zone, it's just something that I haven't done in a while. I'm out of practice. Et voila, this is the whole look complete. Let me tell you what I did to finish it off, and then I'll tell you what my thoughts are. I did use some mascara in my waterline. I used this color Fade Away from ColourPop. It is kind of a vintage gold. On my lips, I'm wearing this fine liner from Italia Deluxe. The shade is 1062 Auburn, and the ColourPop Glowing Lip in the shade Desert Aura. I do have some bronzer on from Physicians Formula, and I topped it off with a little bit of highlighter from the Aurora Glow Kit from Anastasia Beverly Hills. I think I said I put on mascara. That's everything. Let me tell you some of my thoughts on the eye look. I really like the upper lid. I'm not as much in love with the lower lash line and the inner corner. I think the inner corner is a fun pop of color. I don't hate it, but the inner corner plus the color changes on the lower lash line plus all of the different colors on the upper lid. I have been learning about myself that when I do a more colorful eyeshadow look, I don't necessarily like the lower lash line to be even more different colors. I tend to just carry down the colors on, like echo onto the lower lash line what I did up top. That seems to be my preference, the way that I'm leaning overall, and then an inner corner highlight is fun. So that's just something I'm learning about myself. If I could go back and redo it, I probably would have just brought the yellow, green, and brown onto the lower lash line instead. It would have felt more cohesive to me, and then maybe I would have preferred the inner corner with those colors without the addition of the burgundy and pink shades on the bottom. I like it. I don't love it. I would love to hear your thoughts, though. Do tell me in the comments what you think. Now, remember, I was allowed to use 6 palettes today, but I did not use Paletopy at all. So it was just these 5, and it was 1 from each, so it was 5 shadows total. I hope that you are enjoying this series as much as I am. I am really enjoying it. It's a bit of a challenge. It's a fun theme. It's a good time. You know, at the end of the day, I get to be creative with color and play with eyeshadow and have a good time. So I hope you're liking these videos. Do remember to check the description box for H and O, this being the L video. Next, I will be doing I. The description box also contains other things which you might find interesting, some information, and again, all the links to what I'm wearing today. I hope you will consider liking and subscribing before you go. If you like this content and you would like to see more, I appreciate your time. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.